allowed to drink.
Nobody wants to listen to mouth noises to any capacity. I promise you that. How was your night?
It was interesting. No, tonight was a good night. We had a random night off. We never go out on Fridays or Saturday nights,
Never.
and I think for good reason. Right? There's just like so many people out in public,
Which we hate.
and we also like we're going all the time during the week. We do all of our like content shoots. Like usually when we're invited out to places, when we go to do media, it's Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
So Friday, Saturday nights, like I'm either working or we're just like vegging at home because there's too many people out. So we had nothing going on tonight. We said let's go do stuff that is non-contractually obligated night out.
So much more fun.
So we were like normal people tonight. We waited an hour for a table at a restaurant. Shout out to Amalio's.
Dinner was banging, always worth it. We were not.
Yeah.
I was not going to leave. I had it in my head that I was getting the.
We had nowhere to be.
Yeah.
I don't say we waited an hour as like a pain thing. It was like it was just like normal, and it was nice to see. It's nice to see that place being so busy. First of all,
so good. The food's so good.
Yeah, the food is amazing.
Servers always are really nice.
Servers are great. Everything there is fantastic. We get to see Pop, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we were like, all right, what else are we gonna do? We always joke about going to an escape room because that's our favorite thing to do. And then we're kind of like, yeah. Well, only if you want to. If you want to.
Well, I feel like it's like a guaranteed hour experience. All four of us get to like get something out of it. Originally, I was like Chuck E. Cheese. Like, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to get out of the house and do something. But it was fun. We had a good time. However,
we lost our first official escape room ever.
oh my
Out
God.
of 23 rooms.
I can't even believe it.
We count 22 because we don't count the very, very first one.
But we doubled the playground.
But we've doubled the playground. This was the very first one that we have not escaped. I felt so defeated.
I thought he was going to cry. I mean, he always cries.
I always cry.
Yeah, it definitely sucked. I was just like, damn. But like towards the end, I was kind of like, yeah, I could tell that we're not finishing this one.
Yeah.
I sucked. It was my fault. We can blame me. Jason was very helpful. Addie was good once she stopped crying.
Yeah. Somebody decided to tell Addie that we were getting locked in a room.
Yes, but then we were like, oh, it's not dark in there. And the lady's like, it is dark in there. And I'm like, whose team are you on when she said that?
Yeah, but why would you tell her we were getting locked in a room?
No, I said we're going to, I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it with doom. She was like, where are we again? And I said, we're going to an escape room. I was like, they're going to go in a room, they're going to lock us, and we have to try to get out. But I said it like fun.
Imagine you're 3 and you're told that. There's nothing fun about that.
She would have been scared either way.
So we lost our first one. Now, how did we get into doing escape rooms? Because we love escape rooms. That's our go-to date night thing.
We literally sat on the couch one night and we're like, let's do something on this date that's not just dinner.
Yeah.
And you looked it up and you were like, ah.
I feel like we had toyed with the idea for a little while.
Yeah.
We were like, let's go after it.
I don't feel like they're cheap, but to me, it's worth it.
I mean, they range anywhere from like $30 to $40 a person.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think that that's worth it.
I think it's worth it because we have always done them by ourselves. I wouldn't feel the price would be as worth it with more people. We utilize. I mean, we pretty much are there for an hour. Like you're allotted an hour.
Yeah.
To get out, I feel like we've pretty much gotten our hours worth.
We got our money's worth for sure. Yeah, it's when there's more people, you definitely experience less.
Yeah.
I think that we have experienced our rooms to the absolute fullest.
Totally.
And there are some companies that like we really like. There are some companies that are like okay. But I mean, out of all the rooms that we've done, so did we do the one in Kalahari before we decided to do the? Okay, so we have to rewind a bit.
Why are we even considering that anything?
Well, because I think that this kind of sparked it, right? This was the start of the conversation. Was that we went to Kalahari. If you don't know what Kalahari is, it's like a water park ski resort thing up in the Poconos, and they've got like an arcade there, all this kind of stuff. But they had 2 different escape rooms there, I believe. So we did the one with friends of ours, and it was so poorly put together.
Horrible.
So just like the automated clues and stuff, it was really bad, right? Especially looking back at it now that we've experienced
it's like a 3-room escape room. There's no hints. It was very just like it was weird.
It was. I'd be curious to go back now, knowing what we know, and just to see if we would have the exact same experience. But I think that we would.
It was nothing.
So we left with like a really bad taste in our mouth of that, and we're like, we've got to try this again. We've got to go somewhere, a little bit more. So like that, the one at Kalahari was definitely one. I'm not moving my leg.
No, I was making sure that it was on. You always check, but
the one at Kalahari is like you can buy these rooms like out of the box basically. Yeah. So like they send you all the stuff, send you the puzzles, send you the audio tapes, all that kind of stuff. We found a company near us. It was Expedition Escape, and they still exist in King of Prussia with the one in Montgomeryville that they had. They make all of their stuff. Like, I know that I think they work with a company, but like all their stuff is handmade. Um, they design all of their puzzles, all their rooms. We're like, let's go out and do this. And the first one we did it on a whim. And I think we just picked it at random too. We kind of like, we're like, this one looks like fun
Oh,
and
it's Candy
cute.
Shop. It was called
Yeah,
the Candy
it's called the
Shop.
Candy Shop. And we get there and they're playing Candyman in the background. And it was like such a cool experience because,
Such a fun room.
you know, the one thing I mentioned earlier tonight is what I really like about Expedition Escape is that when you start the games with them, there's like a pre-made recording story.
Like a TV show thing you watch.
And a lot of escape rooms have this, right? So like we get into it. Like, I love theming. I love getting immersed into those worlds. And it really sets you up for that. So we did it, and you know, you're asking for the hints and you're doing the thing. And I remember by the end we were running. We were running, and I was like jumping over things, and it was really, really crazy. But Expedition Escape has always been a fantastic company. Like, we hit the jackpot with them because our first experience, like, you go in, they sit you down, they talk about how all their locks are designed. Like, this is how you open the locks, this is how you deal with the directional lock, this is, you're gonna have this notepad with you, and like, you know, nothing can move. And like, they're very, very clear with the instructions. They're very clear with the instructions. They're very clear with the gameplay. And then at the end, they then walk you through the entire room. Now, we've never lost a game with Expedition Escape, so I don't know if they do it if you lose.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they have always walked us through the entire puzzle, top to bottom. You know, their game masters are absolutely incredible. They've always been so nice. So then we went back. We went back time and time again with them, tried a few more games with them. And we started finding different companies. I think Escape Game was probably next. Now, Escape Game is a nationwide company. They're in like every major city now. We've done a few here in King of Prussia, and then we did all those games. Because then we got in the habit, we started doing two, as a joke almost.
Yeah.
We would always like book one room,
and then we're like, shit, we're doing another one
well,
over here.
And I think because I know Expedition Escape did the discount and Escape Game does it.
Oh yeah.
So it's always those companies. If you play a room, they're like, if you book your next room now, you get a 20% discount.
We always booked the next one.
So we would always book the next one, but we'd be like, hey, what do you have right now?
Next.
What do you like? Let's just do one right now. Do you have anything open? As that sort of became the habit of, we always book two rooms in one night. So we maxed out. We did everything at Expedition Escape
Shame it wasn't
here.
so late tonight. I would have done another one just to end on a high.
We did all the ones at Escape Game and KOP.
Yep.
And those people were super nice. And I love they have the collector's pins for all the rooms that they do.
Yep.
And
their sets are way more, I don't want to say like Disney compared to like a theme park at home. They're more like
high production.
Yeah, better production.
It is high production. And again, because they have these rooms like all over. But I think what I love about Escape Game is, and a lot of these different companies, right? So Escape Game in King of Prussia there's like 5 different rooms there. And then they opened one up at the American Dream Mall. And I think there's like 3 similar ones there, but then there was two other rooms that we had not done.
Yep.
They also have a location in Manhattan that we have not yet been to because the parking there sucks. That's a long story. But they have a couple rooms there that we haven't done as well. They've also done special overlays. So they did their one room, the playground, which we absolutely love.
Probably our favorite, if not one of our favorites.
The fun thing about that one, obviously, it's around a playground, but they recommend, so when you sign up for the games, it'll say like 2 to 8 players. This is the difficulty level. I think that one specifically,
12.
that's the only one that says 4 to 12 players. And they told us, they were like, well, it's a difficulty rating of like 7 out of 10, but it goes up a point for every person under 8 that you have.
Yeah, so this was.
And we always do it with just the 2 of us, and that definitely, I ripped my pants in that one. I ripped my shorts in that game.
Running.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. But they did, so for a while we never got to do it. It was before we got into the game, but they had a Rugrats themed overlay in that room, which I think is really cool that they can do that. The other one that we didn't get to go to was they had a Only Murders in the Building overlay traveling around. They had that one at the one in Manhattan. We didn't get to experience that. So yeah, we've done all the ones at
our locations near us.
All the locations near us, like the ones that we enjoy. Now we're going to Amazing Escape next week. We have 2 rooms with them. I gotta look up and see what they are.
Oh, yeah, you didn't look that up.
I know I didn't look that up yet. But we love doing the escape games. I mean, I'm trying to think of like let's go down the list, and I want to like some of our favorites. The Candy Shop.
I mean, you didn't talk about the one we went to tonight. Escapeopolis is a new, like a smaller business. New.
Yeah.
They've been there
a couple years.
Yeah. I would say they're like the in between. They're not as high production as Escape Game, but they're more high production than Expedition, I would say.
Yeah, again, they're all handmade. very well designed.
But we were talking, these ones to us, I feel like they have the hardest games. That would
Yeah.
for us.
And I said it earlier, is Expedition Escape, and I think even Escape Game, their puzzles are like story involved.
Yeah.
Like it follows a story through the room. And it does to a certain extent with Escapeopolis, but it's kind of like there's just so many pieces.
So many pieces.
The couple that we've done with them, I remember the Shipwrecked.
I mean, it is the matter of like we do struggle with just two of us. Those
Absolutely.
would be the ones that if we had 2 extra hands.
Yeah, those are ones that you definitely need more people. We've struggled every time.
Every time there.
Because they have like the linear games like Escape Game and Expedition Escape, right? It's like you have to complete one puzzle to get to the next one. Escapeopolis,
you could be doing 4 or 5 things at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a spider web of games where there's just so many different working pieces.
So hard.
And you also have to we talk about this a lot, right? You learn something new from every game that you go through. Like we've things like turning over carpets, looking underneath certain things. Like when we go into a room, like we don't have the kids and that timer starts going, we circle the room and we check every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
We look underneath of everything. We flip things over. Like we turn the room upside down before we do anything. So you learn to do that over time. You learn all these different skills. But at the end of the day, like some people are better at certain puzzles than others. Like I know you guys were like running around. I don't even know if you guys saw the fuse box that I did. There's like different puzzles and things that
tonight truly escaped me. Like, not to make a pun, this room was so difficult, and the kids weren't in the way. Like I don't mind that they're there, but like my brain was just not screwed on. I don't really know. I just felt like it was very difficult.
Sometimes it's hard, right? Sometimes we get into these rooms and you kind of get like hung up on things. Like I like that sometimes they'll have like a sort of red herring in the room, and you get so stuck on it that it throws you completely off track.
It has nothing to do with anything.
Has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
I
always think about sometimes you get like not overly cautious, right? But you think things harder than you need to.
Yeah.
Because of past experiences. And I always think about Quarantine, that one in particular. We're in this room and we're looking at this whiteboard, and I'm like, I'm not gonna touch anything on it because I'm afraid to erase anything because there's probably valuable information there. And of course it turns out that I had to erase stuff on there, but I was so nervous to do it.
But I know that we joke that every time we learn something else, but then we still don't learn enough. It's all, you know what I mean? Because
every game is different. Every game is different.
We remember to turn over, like when we in the one puzzle at one place, we've turned over the carpet and we're like, okay, fine. And then somewhere else we forgot to turn over something, and it's like, oh my god, sometimes you really forget.
Yeah, but I think that's what I like about the rooms is that and I said this earlier, where every game is basically the same concept. It's like, oh my god, you've got 60 minutes to save the world. Oh my god, you got 60 minutes to escape, whatever, right? So like the general gist is the same, but you walk into every single room like it's brand new.
Yeah.
You understand some of the puzzles, right? Like the puzzle mechanics are the same. Yep. But when you're looking at it in different themes and different lights and different scenarios, it changes and alters the way that you look at the puzzle itself.
There's some that are like repeat, like I've seen them multiple times where I'm like, oh, it's this kind of puzzle. And then some, like I'm trying to think, like Aunt Edna's, they have the pill bottle thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was nowhere else. Like that was a cool, like, I don't know. They just some different ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes like it's like you miss the really like blatantly obvious ones. The one tonight with the pipes on the thing, like I just you see that, and especially when you solve the puzzle or you get that clue or you get to the end,
easy.
You're like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't see that. We get frustrated with ourselves when we get stuck and then we ask for a hint
and we're like, oh, that's literally what we were doing.
Of course. Or you start looking at things like I was looking at something like I was doing it backwards, and I was so certain that was the way that it needed to be done, and I wasn't even thinking about the right process. I'm trying to think like.
What were you gonna say? You wanted to go down the list, but talk about what?
Oh, just some some fun honorable mentions and stuff. So,
all right, so we could just go down the list and kind of say a little something about all of them without too much.
Yeah.
All right, so our first one was the candy shop. I mean, when you walk in there and they play the Willy Wonka music, you're like, done. My favorite, love it. Da Vinci's Office was really cool.
Because that was the second one that we did, right? And that was we got hooked from the candy shop.
Yep.
And we're like, cool, we got this. We're like, we understand escape rooms now.
No.
And Da Vinci's
nothing the same.
Completely changed everything, and that was where we're like, all right, well now we need to.
Well, now we know this.
We need to like change our thought mechanics, and I think that's when you and I started. we changed how we approached the rooms, and that's when we started dividing and conquering.
Yes.
That's when we decided, when we start, we walk around the room, we kind of talk to each other, and we look
Here's
at
what's
different
here's
things like,
here's
right, hey, I've got a four digit lock here, I've got a 5 letter lock here,
yep.
I've got this, I've got this, I've got these pieces. What do you have? Let's, get everything gathered in the middle.
Yeah, because sometimes you can move the boxes, so it's like, all right, let's get all the things that we can.
Yeah.
And then we did the quarantine. That was our third one.
Yep.
Um,
And again, that one.
Great
So
room.
first one with a jump scare in it.
Yep.
I loved it and hated it. That
We
again,
hated each other that night.
we did hate each other that night.
I
we
do
were
remember that. We were fighting.
I was gonna kill you. Yeah,
that's
that was.
But we still had a good time.
We did.
That's
We
a
did.
good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. And then we took Jason and we did the Santa's Workshop.
That was cute. I
That
like
was
that
cute.
one.
I loved it. It was definitely more. It was easier, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the Santa's Workshop and the other one, the teddy bear, the Lost Teddy Bear that we did with Jason, like Lost Teddy Bear is specifically for children.
Yep.
They actually say like this is good for like little like Boy Scout troops, Girl Scout
Yep.
troops, that kind of stuff. So we're like, let's take Jason. And I remember like we were sitting there going, like we're looking at each other, we're like, I can't figure out these puzzles. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
We actually struggled because I think
We're
that one,
overthinking.
we were definitely overthinking
That by that
one.
time we had been to Escape. Like we were like more
Yeah.
prepared. But that was fun. I
Yeah.
liked doing the Santa one. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then the bunker was tonight, which was very difficult.
That was very difficult.
Very, what do they say? 15% success rate. So
Yeah.
for that, I'm like, all right. And we were only 2 puzzles. I mean, basically 1 puzzle away from doing it.
Yeah, we were 2 puzzles away.
You were killing it. You were running. You did great.
I was running.
The other 2 that we did there, we did Shipwreck, which was a fun one.
That was a fun one, but again,
difficult.
a difficult one. Like their puzzles are much harder.
Much harder.
I think like the end result in terms of like gathering the pieces and stuff is easier. Like there's more of it, but I remember the shipwreck with remember like there was like the
shell puzzle.
Yeah.
And we're just like, I don't know, it looks all the same to me.
Well, it was like a gradient gray puzzle
In the dark.
In the dark, and
Brutal.
God, I thought I was gonna have a stroke.
And then Vegas, which was a really cool room.
That one was really cool, right? Again, so you talk about like Escapeopolis does theming really well, and I like that one. Again, it was their kind of difficult.
Yeah.
It was Escapeopolis kind of difficult. But it was a lot more fun and interactive.
It was interactive. I love the ones where there's games in it, kind of.
Yeah.
Um,
it's stressful, but it's fun when you're like trying to like putt your way to victory, and you're like, oh my God, I suck at this.
Seriously. And then the Curse of the Hidden Temple.
That one was really fun. So that's
a brand new one.
That is the newest game that Expedition Escape has in King of Prussia.
And that is like a high production.
They killed it with that. And it's like starts from the very get-go. You talk like their guides get into it. I loved it. I was like, I had shivers the whole time.
That was our best time ever.
That was our best time ever. I think that we slayed that game. I think we said this earlier, right? It was easier, but it was like so entertaining.
It was.
And it was just like really cool. Like I could spend all day in that room.
Yeah.
That one was really cool, really fun.
I like when it's weird. I like when it's difficult, right? But I felt like that one, like I felt like we felt smart. We were like, oh my God, and they even said, they were like, wow, you got out of there really fast.
Yeah.
But I was like.
But I always wonder, right? Like, because I feel like a lot of times they say that kind of stuff, and I'm like, wow, you guys got out of there really fast. Like, was it like that? I don't know.
No, I think we killed that one. Other ones, Lucky Dice Diner, that's a good one.
That was cute as hell.
Cute as hell.
That was cute as hell. That one had some really cool and fun new puzzles in it. And that damn syrup.
We won't say, but yes.
Oh my God. That was another one where we're like, are you serious?
We're pissed. This happens almost every time.
Yeah.
Where we're pissed.
There's always like one puzzle that we're just like, we're so certain we're doing it right, and then the clue comes up. Like, God damn it.
God. Blind Tiger Speakeasy, which we talked about today on the way home. Not my favorite. Oh no, we did like that one.
No, we did like
that one. That was the one.
That one was cool.
Fun.
That one was really cool because it really was like speakeasy theme, like
the
deep speakeasy theme, and like everything.
Okay, that's
because like the puzzles, I think the concept of like the puzzles tying into the speakeasy really made sense in that scenario, right?
It was
It's
cool.
not just like puzzles in like a random scenario like a lot of the other rooms. It really all tied together, and I thought that was awesome.
Setting the tables, like that was so fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of really cool ones with that.
Aunt Edna's Inheritance.
Again,
fun.
We learned a lot of new stuff from that one.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of new things from that one. That was really cool. By the way, if anybody does escape rooms or you're looking for escape rooms, I highly recommend the app called Morty, Morty. This is how we keep track of what rooms that we've actually done. So you can search escape room. This is not a sponsored ad, by the way, although it sounds like it.
Yeah, why are you so cheesy?
No, because it's a cool app,
It
right?
is,
So
yeah.
you can search escape rooms near you, and it actually breaks it down by like ones that are suspenseful, ones that are fun. It gives you their difficulty ratings. It shows other people's reviews of the room. Sometimes they'll have photos. You can like see how many people around the area have done it. So you get a little bit better insight into kind of what you're looking for. Because there's a lot of other things out there. There's like haunted escape rooms and things like that too. And it helps you kind of dive into what you want. But then you can also keep track, right? So like I've listed every escape room that we have ever done, and I've given them all ratings, and I've attached our photos. So it's cool to kind of go back and see that. Sorry, end of the ad. That
Not
one.
ad. Next, Quest for the Throne.
That was the one that we did not like.
No, we liked it.
Did we?
No,
I didn't really like that one.
the one that we didn't
Oh,
like was
Baker
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 Street.
Street we didn't like. Quest for the Throne I didn't like because I felt brain dead doing that one.
What did we do before that?
No, we did that one first.
No,
I thought.
we did the temple, and then you were like, "There's one we haven't done. Let's just do it." So we did.
Oh, that's right. Maybe we went in and we were just like so cocky and proud of ourselves for
And then we're like,
slaying
"Oh
the
wait, this is
temple.
hard." Yeah.
Yeah, and then we really got knocked down a peg with that one.
I wasn't like that wasn't on my list of like original ones to. I mean, it was cool to do them all,
Yeah.
but the theming of that one like was mid.
Yeah. But Baker Street was the one with Expedition Escape that we did not like
Not my favorite.
simply because of the game mechanics of it. Oftentimes, and I'll say Escape Room does this with every single one of their rooms, but it's a one-time feature.
What?
Is this like going to the second room?
Oh.
If there are multiple rooms,
Yeah.
with Escape Room, you usually have to do one move to get into that room.
Got it.
Baker Street was a back and forth, and it killed my knees.
At one point, I just stayed in the other room
Yeah.
because I was sick of crawling. Not my favorite. Bank Heist.
That was the one.
That was the fun one.
That
with
was the
shoe.
really
Yeah,
fun
that was a cool
one.
one. I like that one. We
No,
killed
that was
Yeah, Bank Heist was the one where
the bank heist was the one where the door was open the whole time.
yeah, which was a good one. I love that
That
one.
was a really good one.
Prison Break. That was a cool one. That's up there on the list because we started in 2 separate rooms.
Yeah, so the start of that game is you are however many people you have are separated in 2 cells.
2 prison cells.
And you have to work together to get out, and then the game proceeds from there. That was the game that I broke, remember?
You did. You skipped ahead, and she was like, "What the hell happened?"
But it was purely on accident. I
Skipped a whole
I
puzzle.
skipped the second to last puzzle.
I can't believe I didn't think we were getting out of the cells because I'm not good by myself.
I'm still not sure how we did that.
Killed it.
That was crazy. That game top to bottom really requires a lot of teamwork. I mean, like they'll require teamwork, right? But like Prison Break was the first one where we really elevated our communication skills doing that.
That's because we're just so perfect together.
Maybe this is how it goes back to the other episode where we talk about what keeps our relationship spicy is like
escape rooms.
Doing things like escape rooms and learning to communicate better.
Okay. The heist. We loved that one. We killed that room.
We killed that one. Maybe we're just like really good at heists. Maybe that's what it is.
Good at stealing shit.
Yeah, we're good at stealing things. Well.
Anyway, Jason. Gold Rush. So we did this one. This was the only room. I mean, besides dragging the kids around, we brought my parents, and they thought it was hard. And I was like, "No, you don't understand. This room was hard."
That one was hard. In fact, like we knew that okay, we love you, Chris, but we knew that your dad was going to be absolutely useless. But I wanted to see your mom in an escape room scenario because she's so good at puzzles. Like she has a very puzzle-minded like mentality.
Well, let me ask you then. Out of everyone that we've done, which one would you want to take her to watch what she would do?
Ooh.
Because I feel like there's so many that are so good. Right?
Oh man.
Because like
I think your mom would slay in Candy Shop.
Really?
I think your mom would absolutely slay in Candy Shop.
She's good with numbers too. Like I feel like Quarantine was very like math based.
Quarantine, and so was Bank Heist.
I think that I feel like Gold Rush was hard. Like
You always say you're like I'm still not sure how like we did it. That one had some cool game mechanics in it.
Big time.
But there was a couple puzzles in there.
I mean the puzzle in the inside. Yeah. I don't know how you guys figured it out.
I'd have to look that one up because I still don't know what we did.
No.
And I think that they just like gave it to us. Like I think they just pushed the button.
That's what I was thinking. I think they felt bad.
Make it happen. We struggled hard there.
Playground we talked about, but that's I mean, if I had to pick, it's my favorite. And we've done it twice.
That's fair.
I mean, we did it the second time with the kids and we were like, it was like a whole new experience.
It was. And that's, I think that like when you wait long enough, because we could go back to like some of our very first games, and
It would be like the first time.
it would absolutely be like the first time. Like you kind
You
of
would start
remember some
remembering. You'd be like, wait,
things,
that was that thing.
but then you like your memory will actually trip you up, and you're like, ah, crap,
Oh, that was that other one.
that's wrong.
I want to go to I want to go back to the candy shop. We should go.
We should.
We should, because that was our first one.
Be like our anniversary or something.
That'd be cute. The Depths, we love that one.
The Depths, and it's funny as like I tend to sleep on this when I talk about escape rooms. I again talk about theming.
So good.
That room slaps so freaking hard for so many different reasons throughout the entire game. And the game itself, I thought was like mid-level difficulty.
It
right?
was mid, yeah.
But it was so cool and immersive and fun from beginning to end. Like even after the game is over, there's just so much that happens.
Well, the theming in the next one too, the special ops, was very like you felt like you were in the game, in the scene.
Special ops. So both the special ops and the depths contain game functions that were incredibly unique to those games.
Yeah, they're about
added so much to the story and added so much to the feel of everything.
Yep.
You know, without trying to like give it away, but like and I know you know what I'm talking about, and it just.
It's cool.
It just really made like you talk about getting immersed into it, and that's when we talk about why we love escape rooms. It's, you know, you have everyday stresses of life and all this kind of stuff. You got a million things going on, a million things to remember. The moment that you step in that room, your brain is so focused on the game that for 60 minutes or hopefully less,
you are only thinking about that.
Only thinking about that.
Like tonight, I that's why I like it. That's why I like it. Because it's the only time my brain does that. Like tonight, I'm like, we're in a bunker. Like this is so cool.
You are not thinking about what bills you have to get paid.
Nothing.
You're not thinking about what time you're working the next day.
You really think you're in the scene.
Yeah,
it's
you
crazy.
are there.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's you know, again, I go nuts for the theming, and the depths and special ops.
Very cool.
Really sold it with those ones.
And then the only other two, the Fugue, which is a smaller one, right across the street from us. They have 2 rooms. We've only ever done the one. I like. It's called the Abandoned Circus. It was cool.
There were some cool like puzzly
games
things in there. You know, very fit with the circus theme.
Jump scares.
Jump scares. You know, in terms of like quality level, it wasn't up to par with some of the other ones that we've done.
No.
But I liked it. I liked that sort of like homemade.
I liked it.
Feeling to it.
The only reason we haven't done the other one is because you need 4 people.
Yeah, they won't. It's funny, is because we've talked with some of these companies, and they're like, we really recommend 4 people. We're like, listen, we understand what your policy is. There are some that we've paid for all 4 spots because we're just like, no, like, listen, we're going to do it with just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
We insist on doing it with 2 people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they were trying to do that with Playground. They were really encouraging us.
There was a couple times we like almost got paired with people, and we're like, we'll do a different time slot. That is the downside of some of these places, is you can get put with other people.
Yeah, some of them do private rooms, so once you book it,
it's yours.
That's your room. The bigger name, so Escape Game for sure. It is like, hey, we've got 10 slots in this room.
We're filling them,
and we're gonna fill it. Now we've had some fantastic game guides with that company that
can tell that we're like
they respect and understand that we are there as more serious escape room people.
Yeah.
And they've been a little bit more accommodating to those settings, if you will.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And then the only other one was Meltdown and OBX.
I really want to. We went there early on.
We're probably going there when we. Yeah, we have to.
We absolutely have to. That's your parents will take the kids. We'll go. That one, I think your uncle was telling us that it was like a Navy SEAL or something who developed these games.
We should all go. All 6 of us.
Oh my gosh. The Meltdown was crazy because Addie was crying the whole time. She was still young. We didn't know what to expect, but it was dark. It was loud. There was a lot of jump scares in that one.
Yep.
And it was just this tiny little room. And that one was really intense. I know that they have other ones there where like you start where you're like handcuffed and blindfolded. I really want to experience one of those games.
I think it's cool.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Why wouldn't I?
Panic.
I'll be fine. I mean, as long as it's not like the whole game.
As long as you get out, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, those. I remember looking those games up there. They're a little bit more intense, and there's some around us that are like that, right? Like there are the sort of like, I don't want to say horror themed, but there's like spookier kind of escape rooms. There are ones that have like part of being a game guide is like you're sort of like an actor in the thing.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of like murder's coming after you, and they kind of pop in and out, whatever. And like I kind of like that, but it still scares me a little.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel with the handcuff thing. I think it's cool, but it also scares me.
Well, just like we tell Addie, we're like, it's not real. We can get out anytime. Um, yeah,
She was
so
cute tonight. She was cute.
she was
Once she
cute.
got into it, she was like, "I have clues. I have
Yeah.
clues." Like you have nothing, but thank you.
She meant well.
She did.
But I'm curious. Like, I want to know if anybody else has ever done escape rooms. Um, what were your experiences, or if you haven't, what's been holding you back? I've talked to some people, and they're like, I don't know, I'm not good at puzzles, I'm not this, and I'm like, I think that escape rooms are truly meant for everyone. I don't
I'm
think that
always surprised. I mean, there's some where I do a lot more than you would think. And you're like, damn, like you really held that. Or
yeah.
like you do the majority of it like tonight, where we're like brain dead. So it really, there's certain puzzles that we don't think the same. Our brains are so different in that way.
Yeah.
Where it's like you would completely miss it or I would completely miss it.
Yeah. But and I think that, like, I would say, like, if you've never done an escape room and you don't see yourself as like a puzzle type of person, because I love puzzles. I do, I
Yeah.
do my Sudokus and my crosswords and my matrices and all this stuff. Like,
Yep.
I think like that. I think that if you're not that kind of person, but you want to experience it, that's where I would encourage you to take more people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, obviously, like, four eyes are better than two, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yep.
Like, having the extra hands, getting people to see, but like, I wouldn't go more than four.
I wouldn't either.
Honestly, I think that, like, that way everybody can kind of like take a corner of a room. Everybody can kind of help each other out
More
and
than
talk
four,
through
you're missing
things.
so much of the room and you're paying. I don't know. To me, it's like you're paying full price
I don't even think it's
to
about
not get to
that.
do it.
I think my concern when it's more than four people is that there's so
Excuse
many
me.
hands in the pot
Could get screwed up
that
even
it could
worse.
get screwed up even worse. When
Yeah.
it's just you and I, it's literally like it's that straight back and forth.
Yeah.
I think with four people, you can kind of keep it into a small circle without things getting misplaced. Like, again, all it takes is for one person to grab a puzzle piece and set it down somewhere and forget about it.
Yeah.
One thing that's like, we talk about like tips and tricks that I give to people is like, circle the room, look at everything.
Yep.
Always keep every tool that you get. Don't let go of it until you use it.
Mhm.
Or like keep it all in a pile so you can keep referencing back to it. I'm trying to think of some other ones.
But what would you say if you just had to pick your favorite room?
Ooh, had to pick my favorite room. Candy Shop, just like it, that one will always hold a place in my heart because it was our first one.
I agree. You can't really beat the Candy Shop. It was so good.
And it was just so appropriate too, just like very fitting for us.
What do you think out of all of the, like, if you just top off your head, your favorite puzzle from a game? Like, it sticks out. You're like, that was really cool.
The shooting one in
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
That was cool.
Was really cool.
Uh-huh.
Playground has a few that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot in the temple that
there
were
were
just
so
like,
many that were so good.
yeah.
I can't even.
I'd have to I'd almost have to mentally walk through every room to try to think about that, because like the ones that stand out are the shooting one and Gold Rush for sure.
Mm-hmm. The balls in Playground is one of my favorite parts.
The balls in Playground,
amazing.
So cool. Yeah, those are the big ones that stick out in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Those are definitely the big ones that stick out in my head. Da Vinci's had some cool thinkers too.
Yeah.
Da Vinci's really had some cool thinkers.
We still got to do Space.
And Edna's. The intro.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was a cool one.
God, there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know if you've ever done any, like anyone local, if you have done any of these escape rooms.
Yeah, if you're local, you've done any of these, let us know. If you're local and you haven't done any of these and you want to go to an escape room,
let's do it.
We'd be happy to go with you.
I want to go with the Seance. We're going with Becky and Jarrett, the four of us.
Oh.
But we're going to take them to one that we've done.
I need to experience Becky and Jarrett in Prison Break. That's like, I think like Prison Break for sure is your like the strength of your relationship test.
I think you could be with Becky and I'll be with Jarrett and we'll be on separate sides, but we don't help.
That'd be great.
She would end up killing him.
I would love. I think, you know what though? I think Jarrett would really surprise us. Like as like quiet as he is,
I think he would be good.
He's a smart guy. I think that he definitely strikes me as like the sitting doing puzzles on his phone type of thing.
You think?
I think so.
Prison Break is one that I mean, all the ones that we've done, I would love to do with people and just watch.
Yeah.
Go with something to Playground with my parents and just watch. And just like, whoop, like we'll be at the end. We'll help you at the end when we really need us.
Yeah.
But it would I would pay to go do that just to watch someone do it because it's just so funny.
Yeah.
But
I won't put any like deep secrets or like inside information on here. But like if anybody wants to know anything specific about any of these rooms, you can message us and we'll tell you privately. But yeah, if anybody local wants to go to, even like semi-local, I would love to meet up with some other people and do some
One
escape
other thing to
rooms.
say is like you can bring your kids to this date night, and it doesn't bother me at all. Like it's so much. It's to Addie, it's just like another playground. She's like, oh, what's all this shit? And Jason was actually very helpful, and I know that Alyssa took her whole crew
Yeah.
and did the candy shop and loved it.
Yep.
So you can bring kids.
You could definitely bring kids. You have to be mindful because we always joke about like, Addie taking a key and just kind of
I thought
like
you were gonna run her over tonight. I was like, Addie, move. 'Cause Daddy is running. I don't know what is happening.
well, you guys are all just standing there like
Because we and Jason, we
I don't know colors or shapes
Jason and I
or
accepted defeat.
symbols.
I was like 5 minutes. I'm like, Jason, game over. We're
Oh,
done.
they just
We
gave
gave
up
up.
on me.
We really did.
Here
and,
I
and he
was.
threw the pieces on the table, and he was like, "We're really just." I'm like, "Yeah, like there's 30 seconds."
Like 30 seconds left. Everybody just walked away from me, left me to my own.
We really did. We gave up. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, this was a good one. Now I just want to do like we didn't do a second one tonight. I'm like, I want to go do one now, right now.
Yeah, it was weird not to do a second one tonight.
I would have been like, kids, sorry, we're staying up late. I get so hype.
That we do. But now we do. Like you said, like we hunt them out now when we go traveling too.
Oh,
We're like,
so
is there
fun.
anywhere we're going on vacation? Like, is there an escape room there? Is
Well,
there
when was the
escape room
last time
nearby?
we did one? Was that when we did the couple? Like we did when we did the temple.
The
That
temple was the
time.
last one that we did. That was no. It was last year.
Damn, really?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah, I'm excited. That
How
we're
long
going.
ago did we start? Was Addie born?
Addie was born.
Addie was born?
That was the night that Addie cried, and you put her in the car seat.
Oh my God, Christopher. That's right.
Yeah, she was like not like 3 months old. She was little.
Yeah. So we've been doing escape rooms for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
We're not stopping.
We're not stopping, and we're getting out of the next 2.
I want to hit 50
We could do it.
in the next 2 years. I want to hit 50.
Yeah.
So if any escape rooms want to sponsor us, because I know that there's a lot of people listening to this, if there's any escape rooms that want to sponsor us, we'll be at 25 by the end of next week. So
Let's go.
we'll be back with that one.
Yeah. But thanks for cooking. Thanks for listening.
Cooking. Bye.